بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. من ذا الذي يقرض الله قرضا حسنا فيضاعفه له وله أجر كريم. صدق الله العلي العظيم.
Good morning. Welcome and thank you very much for being here with us today this early. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Nadine Hani. I present the business news on Al Arabiya News Channel. I will be your moderator for this session. The title of this panel for this morning is From Revolution to Evolution, Governance in North Africa. I would like to note that this panel will be held in Arabic, so we will be having simultaneous translation. Kindly make sure that you have your headsets with you if you need to listen to the translation. I also would like to point out that this session is broadcasted on the internet and might be broadcasted as well later on TV. سأتحول إذن إلى اللغة العربية.
I now move to Arabic. I would like to mention that a year ago I was here in Davos and everyone was watching screens on TV or following news on the internet in order to see what was happening in the Arab world. A year after these historic events, the general climate is less optimistic than it was at the beginning of the revolution. Hurdles were bigger than expected and the process of political transformation was not easy at all times. At the economic level, the situation is more difficult because these Arab revolutions were accompanied with the European crisis, and of course this has led to economic problems, especially for countries in North Africa. According to studies, the cost of the Arab Spring is $56 billion. It is the lost GDP value in countries affected by revolutions. As to the death toll, it is of course more dramatic. But this is not only a bad situation. As we have heard, there was a positive change. There were elections held in various countries, and hence the transformation process in Tunisia, for example, maybe was the easiest. And in Morocco, they carried out reforms before any revolutions. Now North African countries are witnessing deep social and economic transformation. In order to discuss all of these issues, I am hosting with me Mr. Abdelmonem Abel Futuh, presidential candidate in Egypt. He is the Secretary General of the Arab Medical Union from Egypt. His Excellency Prime Minister of Tunisia, Mr. Hamadi Jebali, whom we have just listened to, Mr. Abdel Ilah benkirane, Chief of the Government of Morocco, and Mr. Amr Moussa, presidential candidate in Egypt and Secretary General of the League of Arab States from 2001 to 2011. Thank you all for being our guests today. I would like to start with you, Your Excellency, regarding Morocco, because we heard today about the Tunisian experience. But in Morocco, the situation was different. You anticipated any uprising and reforms were carried out. But to what extent this change is real? And can you tell us about your experience in the real separation between powers, between you as the Prime Minister and His Majesty the King? In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful, Mrs. Hani, please allow me, before telling you about the Moroccan experience, to tell you about my opinion on what happened in our countries. We all know that our region was governed based on a logic in two folds, if I might say. First, there was the development dream with Abdel Nasser, Bourguiba and others. through a tight grip. So there was a tight grip, but at the same time there was the dream of development. But governance in the last 25 years lost the dream of development, and only the tight grip remained, this tight grip in power and this tight grip as to wealth. So, irrespective of good intentions or bad intentions, the results were as witnessed. So these people in power were seeking wealth everywhere. So the situation was very difficult for our peoples. They could not enjoy freedom and they could not earn a decent living. At the same time, there was an elite that emerged and that enjoyed a lot of wealth. So the explosion was inevitable. This is how this Arab Spring was born. People were expecting it, but not in the way it unfolded. Yes, it's true, this was a very big surprise. Yes, it is the format that was surprising. Actually, in Morocco, I can tell you very frankly that what has happened in Arab countries, we were living in a moderate way. Reforms had started 20 years ago. His Majesty King Hassan II was aware of changes that were happening. He initiated reconciliation with the left wing, and he established a dialogue with the Islamists. Mr. Jebali was for 15 years in prison, but in our country it was maybe more limited regarding prison time for some Islamists. So there were some violations, but this was limited. Please allow me to ask you a question. When you were on the other side, could you aspire to what you have achieved now? Yes, what I am telling you is the reality. When I was on the other side, I do not change my position with the change of my place now. So this movement in the Arab world has arrived in Morocco as warm as necessary for change, but not sufficiently to burn what was in place, if I might say. So it was warm enough, but it did not burn. So there were a lot of tensions, and one has to admit that we cannot be with the leaders or against them. We just have to see their positions. Yes, but if we have to describe the current situation... Sorry, don't interrupt me, says the speaker. So His Majesty the King, after the 20th of February, was very aware of what is happening and paid great attention to the change in the mood. So the tensions were there and corruption was there. So the king tabled a proposal in March in order to change this logic of the state tightening its grip to wealth and power. He paved the way for a new constitution, for elections, and a government that would have real executive powers. The government until today was kind of a secretariat for the king, but now the situation has changed. A big change has occurred, but it is an acceptable change, and I became only yesterday member of parliament, so if you can ask me what has changed in Morocco, I cannot give you a lot of details, but we can see the change occurring, and people in Morocco have high hopes that the necessary transformation will take place, and this will not be in confrontation with the king, because our kingdom dates back to 12 centuries. Yes, I will get back to you, Your Excellency. Please don't call me Your Excellency. Yes, this is what we say in Lebanon, says the anchor. Let's move to the Egyptian.